Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Midnight's Edge After Dark. We have Tripping Orc who just gifted 5 Midnight's Edge memberships. Wow. Thank you so much for that, Tripping Orc. We appreciate that here, and we're hopefully going to have some kind of members stream soon so that we can talk to you guys again. But thank you all for being here. We have with us today Clobbering Times. How you doing?
Hey there, buddy. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hope you're having a great week.
Yes, indeed. And we also have CC Karaoke.
Hello.
Does that stand for Canadian Comfort Karaoke, or what is CC
No,
stand for?
it's far less awesome, actually.
I know what it really means. So I'm just fucking with you.
It's my initial.
I don't need you to dox yourself or anything, but like, yeah.
Nah, it's all right.
We know you're Canadian. That's enough.
Yeah, that's a good point. It might just be enough.
It is just enough. But welcome, CC Karaoke. How you doing?
Is he though? Do we know that for sure?
I was having a great day. Sun's out, it's warm. Got some turns on the mountain. Then I saw the news, and I had
it's
to
actually
get
40 degrees here right now. That's good. But
Wow.
This news is cold. Yes, we're gonna get into that news, and Mikey should be joining us shortly, and whoever else happens to hop in. So greetings, everybody out there in the chat. Good to see you here today. Please share out the link. Let everybody know that we're live. Hit the like button. We got 6 behind the scenes working things, so who knows? She might pop in. She might not. You never know. But she is around, so let's all say hello to 6 and thank her for all that she does. And we also have a WDW Pro raid going on right now. So welcome, everybody who's coming in from WDW Pro. Thank you for being here. We appreciate that. It was fun getting to hop on there today and talk to those guys. And some of those topics may come up here. We're not going to get as into the nitty-gritty numbers and all that business like they do over there. That's not what I do, unless I have Valiant or Culture here to help us out with that. Sometimes Mikey, but I am not a numbers guy. I am not good with numbers, so like, yeah. So that's not what we're going to talk about. What we are going to talk about, though, is some news about Star Trek. We're going to talk a little bit of news about Jonathan Majors. And we'll see what else comes up. But first up, this is what CC was referring to. Now, to bring everybody up to speed, we dropped a video the other day about a possible contract renewal between Kurtzman and CBS, because for a while there had been no shows greenlit. And it wasn't even us that were the only ones reporting it. It was other outlets as well. And a lot of people were hearing the same thing we were hearing, and that was that Star Trek is going to go into moratorium for a little bit. And then after that little bit, which would be 2026, which would also be the anniversary. Isn't that right, Clobby?
Indeed.
60th anniversary, if I remember correctly,
60th,
if my math. Because math scares me.
The 60th would be 2000, it was 2260. Oh, no, 22, 26. 2026.
Yep, 2026. That was the original plan. That's all right. Math. See, this is what I'm talking about with numbers.
Math. I was led to believe there'd be no math test.
I was led to believe there'd be no math here. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so 2026 would be the 60th anniversary, and that was initially going to be like a soft reboot of sorts where they would kind of try to take Trek back to the way it was. You even may have, if you've actually even been paying attention to Trek, you may have even noticed a little bit of a change in how they're presenting things, like the Star Trek logo, for instance, is much more bright. And it evokes more of the motion picture than it does Kurtzman Trek. And even the toys have been very classic Trek oriented and such. Yeah. But all of a sudden we started hearing a bunch of rumors, and a stir of rumors started happening. And it was like clockwork. News started dropping just yesterday, wasn't it? We heard about a new season of Strange New Worlds and Prodigy, I believe, and Lower Decks were on deck. Now, one or the other, I can't remember which animated show. They already had technically ordered that before that announcement. I can't remember if it was Prodigy or Strange or the
I think it was Prodigy.
One or the other. Either way, because it was, and that would make sense because I think that's the CGI one, so they would have to work on that. That one takes a lot longer to do, is my point. So with those announcements, it made everybody kind of worry and concerned, because it somewhat supports this idea that they're going to keep going forward with Kurtzman Trek. Now, again, we still can't confirm that, But what we got today doesn't help. And what we have here, if you happen to catch our video that we just dropped on the main channel less than an hour ago, or just over an hour ago, I guess. Basically, this has been one of Kurtzman's babies. What do we mean when we say Kurtzman's babies? Well, Kurtzman's babies are shows like his Section 31 show that he's never gotten off the ground yet.
Yeah.
And this is another show that he has pitched to them a few times now and has gotten passed on every single time until now, it seems. They have writers in place now. This seems to be moving forward. So Paramount Plus orders diverse teen-focused Star Trek Starfleet Academy series. If you thought STD was bad, this show is saying, here, hold my beer.
Wow.
Because I'll tell you right now, this takes place.
This is a headline that's going to sell?
I guess, and that's why I picked it, because it's the worst of the bunch. And just so in case anybody's wondering, Terry Matalas has already confirmed that this show, he's not a part of it, but he does know that it takes place during the disco era. And in his words, I would say the STD era, of course.
STD. Yeah. Yeah.
So that there should be enough to turn everybody off right there. But yeah, it's official. Paramount Plus has ordered a Starfleet Academy TV series. After more than a year in development, the streamer has greenlit Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
Wow.
I wonder if it's going to be anything like Police Academy. Plus released a description of the show.
I hear Steve Gutenberg's going to be on there.
Yeah, I would watch it then, maybe.
I would too. Not.
Mahoney is in space.
It's his like a descendant of his.
Yeah, Mahoney the 30th.
And he'll be like, if Gutenberg's still acting, he'd be like the old, he'd be running the academy. He'd be like
he'd be cheap,
or whatever. Yeah.
Much.
The fan series, New Voyages, was working on a Starfleet Academy one-off episode that looked really, really good. They never managed to finish it before everything was canceled.
Not the first time it's been mentioned either. In the early 90s, Harv Bennett wanted to do producer of the Trek movies of the time, wanted to do a Starfleet Academy movie.
There's a lot of potential in the storyline. I can't say that I'm filled with optimism like Star Trek should be right now.
But is there really though? I mean, is that something we ever needed? Like maybe something for like a special type thing, but a series long running about kids at the Starfleet Academy, is it really that exciting of an idea for you? I mean, I'm just asking. I mean, not to me, but I was wondering. You think people would like that? I mean,
I'm not sure. Because again, I can see how it works from a structural standpoint. A 4-year story arc about. You can't reach beyond the realm of reason. It has to be believable. But at the same time, anything with good writing,
let's see. Speaking of the writing, let's see what the synopsis is here.
Yeah.
Starfleet Academy will introduce us to a young group of cadets who come together to pursue a common dream of hope and optimism under a watchful and demanding eyes of their instructors. They will discover what it takes to become Starfleet officers as they navigate blossoming friendships, explosive rivalries, first loves, and a new enemy that threatens both the Academy and the Federation itself.
And there we go.
It goes on, it gets better. Admission is now open to Starfleet Academy, Kurtzman and Landau said in a joint recruitment-like statement. Explore the galaxy, captain your destiny. For the first time in over a century, our campus will be reopened to admit individuals of a minimum of 16 Earth years, or species equivalent, whose dreams of exceeding their physical, mental, and spiritual limits, who value friendship, camaraderie, honor, and devotion to cause greater than themselves. The coursework will be rigorous. The instructors among the brightest lights. I can't even say this shit without even laughing. Among the brightest lights in their respective. There are 4 lights.
Math. You're mathing.
And those accepted will live, study. So are they actually opening this academy for real? Like, is there going to be a real academy to go to? Or is this just them being fucking facetiously dumb? Yeah. Anyway, the move follows a slew of major decisions at Paramount concerning the future of its TV franchise, such as ending Picard, which is on. This was already in the cards before it ever even. It was in the Picards, but bump. And Discovery, which airs its final season next year, while doubling down on more Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks, which I said earlier. We are excited to introduce Star Trek fans to a whole new generation of Starfleet officers in training as they navigate the rigors of the Academy and on the brink of adulthood, said Dominic DeMeglio, Chief Marketing Officer and Head of Data, Paramount Streaming. Introducing new characters and compelling storylines, this all-new original series will serve as a fantastic addition to the franchise at Paramount Plus, bringing new generations of viewers and long-term Star Trek fans alike together to enjoy the next chapter in the iconic Star Trek universe. So there you go, kids. We're getting Starfleet Academy. You can't wait now, can you?
Cannot wait to miss it. Wow. What a great idea, folks.
The first couple lines of the synopsis were okay, talking about exploring the optimism. There could be a lot to learn about the lore and the universe of Star Trek through the Starfleet Academy in that perspective. And then they started to really quickly go off the rails into all the usual CW teen drama stuff. Rivalries, love.
Feelings and starships.
Well, you know what? I hate to be devil advocate for something like this, is I think it's a terrible idea. Any way you look at it. But the fact is, if you are setting it at the Academy, what else are you going to do? It'll be about kids going to school.
Well, so we got an outside force. Didn't you see that?
Oh, yeah.
A new enemy that threatens both the Academy and the Federation itself. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, puberty.
They're going to save the universe, of course.
I'm pregnant.
Oh, my God.
That's
what a lame-ass idea for a show, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, and yes, Aaron Ratcliffe brings up here that the showrunner and head writer is Noga Landau. She is from the CW, who wrote The Modern, Nancy Drew. It's going to be who is banging who kind of show with sci-fi elements. Yes.
I take it back. I'm in. No.
Oh, that changes everything.
Yes, sir. Yeah, buddy.
I was waiting for a non-binary robot.
Sex in space, baby.
And the non-binary robot blows up because he can't figure out how to be non-binary when he's already binary.
Sex in 0G, yes.
010100000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000
Abrams movie was many names back in 09 for the 09 garbage Jar Jar Abrams movie was, I called it Star Trek 90210. And which it was. So yeah.
To boldly go where no man has gone before with really good hair. And stylish clothes.
What do you mean where no man has gone before, you bigot? Where no being has gone before. Where no pronoun.
It's a lesbian.
Where no pronoun has gone before.
We have to have like that Chasing Amy episode where a lesbian just realizes all she needed was some deep digging.
Yes, sir.
And I'm canceled.
Cancelled. You're cancelled.
Over under on a take from Orville's Primal Urges episode. The holodeck viruses.
I haven't seen the third season yet.
Nah, second season.
Okay. I don't. Oh yeah. Oh wait. Yeah, is that the one with where what's his face was having the sexual fantasies and shit?
Yeah. Yikes. In the holodeck. Yeah.
He's got a porn addiction.
And then the ship gets taken over by porn viruses. Yeah.
Didn't it say this is taking place during the STD time period? So again, they can never put it.
Yeah, there's a lot of STDs to go around with this.
Yes. Yeah, just saying.
Well, it is college. Lord help me. I don't make the news, kids. I just report it. So let's see what you guys are saying. Soul Nightmare says, who cares? Name one franchise where every piece of content is a gem. It's not like every fan likes every show anyway. If getting more content like Strange New Worlds, Picard Season 3, and a potential Titan series means a bad show or two, so be it. And I agree to a point, Soul Nightmare. You can't disregard when they actually do good because then they never learn. But at the same time, at this point, I don't think they're learning anything by allowing Kurtzman to stick around. We'll have to see how that works out. But No,
Yeah.
I totally understand where you're coming from here.
I hope we don't get more kind of like content like Strangled Nude Worms or P Hard Season 3, but that's just me. I hate that stuff, but some people like it. So if you get that and you want to settle for that quality of things called Star Trek, then knock yourself out. That's what you're gonna get.
And we were talking a little bit about this before the show, Kalabby, about like how there is kind of, there's the Trekkies and, the really nerdy fans who, well, actually, you could not do that because that ship is not equipped with the modulator from the that kind of stuff, right? Like, I don't know what the fuck one ship is from another other than it kind of looks like the Enterprise. You know what I mean? Like, that's me. I don't know what the fucking emblems mean on nothing. I'm not going to lie about it. But I do know when I watch the show what's good and what the show was when I watch it. So in that respect, like, there's a level of that right now. There's this, okay, this is not what STD was. Is it great? No, but we both kind of agreed that it was on the level of like the TNG films, basically.
Well, that's not what my thing either. I mean, I like ships fine. I don't know much about that kind of stuff. That's not because you're right. There are Trek people. Some people who are just into the tech stuff more than others. Some people just think they're a Klingon, like to live like Klingons and speak Klingon.
Yeah.
Other people, for me, it is the hopeful vision of Roddenberry and even Berman Trek that follow a lot of that later. And it's staying as true to Star Trek's ideal. Because look, someone saw a video the other day that someone showed me called "Why Star Trek." It was one of those little short videos on YouTube, and the guy said he was out somewhere and he was wearing a Star Trek T-shirt, and a woman said, "Why Star Trek?" He goes, "Oh, I did this." She says, "No, I mean, why is that your thing?" And he gives a little brief talk, and he names all these other science fiction, a lot of really good ones that we all love. He said, and every one of them leads to a dark dystopian future. Every one, even the good ones that we love, whether it's Terminator, whether it's Planet of the Apes, you name it. Only one where it is about us getting it right and not going in that. And everyone who's gotten a hold of it since 2009 has decided to send Star Trek down that same ass rabbit hole, just like on this new garbage that they're doing now, is to take it away from that. It's just one. It's the only one we have that's about human beings getting it right and having a hopeful future.
I see what you're saying, and I agree.
Only one. Why can't we have that one? And you can do all the other stuff, do all the dark stuff everywhere else, and they won't do it.
Well, and this is a very fair point, and I totally agree with you, Klobby, and I think I made similar points to when we were reviewing, STD and probably early with Picard, because it's like, what kind of future is it worth saving, or what kind of planet or organization or anything worth saving if things are this bad, right? Like, who wants to live in this fucking world? You're right. Like, nobody wants to live in the STD world. Yeah. It's horrible there.
Nobody
wants to live in the first 2 seasons of Picard. It's horrible there.
Third season,
but I can understand.
Yeah. Good.
Well, but the third season here, I can see where people are, whether you can chalk it up to member berries to a point. I can understand that. But at the same time, I think the big reason people are getting on board because they're just like, yes, this is what we've wanted all this time. One last hoorah with the TNG crew, right? Like, how hard is that? And I get it. Some people could say, well, you're just willing to take whatever they're giving you just because it has all the crew in it, blah, blah, blah.
That's what I'm saying.
And I understand that. But you know what? I see them as they're playing it safe too, Claw, because from what I'm seeing right now, it's basically Wrath of Khan all over again, only with Picard, which is just playing it safe.
With moronic, banal writing, but yeah.
And that's fair. I mean, I can't really speak to, like, it hasn't drawn me back in, but I can't say that I've hated it nearly as much as I have all this other crap. Right? Like, that's the big difference.
There's no fireplace in the captain's quarters. I've enjoyed it more than my time with a few episodes of Strange New Worlds. To be fair,
I hate that show.
Yeah, I couldn't go on with that one. But just
terrible.
to set aside bias for a moment, I can objectively look around and see that there is a more positive reception to this season of Star Trek than there has been to other Kurtzman shows. And that's what has me a little bit confused, because I do like to say that, hey, if you make it to the level of a network executive, you do have to have some measure of high intelligence to reach that stage. For the most part, it does take something to be there. And how are they responding to this? Surely they can see that there is a different creative crew working on this particular season of Star Trek. But
yeah, and I don't know if I can agree with this Trojan horse stuff. I get where you're coming from, Rip Star Trek, but like this show was done with the knowledge that it was going to end after this. Terry was given more free reign, not because of like any kind of Trojan horse scenario. It was just more so Kurtzman and company didn't give a fuck anymore about the show. It was done. It was over with. Whatever they were trying to accomplish, they did not accomplish in the first 2 seasons. And
so
as far as we
CBS
know,
and
Terry hasn't been
Paramount-
spoken to since. So
Well, I think
CBS and Paramount are reacting to this by deciding that they should give us more of the previous shows that were less successful.
I'm not exactly sure that's what's
know.
going on. We're hearing a lot of different things right now. And
Yeah.
Paramount and CBS are in the process of renegotiating, redoing a lot of, they're getting a lot of their shit in a row, ducks in order for the rest of their shows. So it's not probably just Kurtzman, it's everybody. They do this every couple of years, right? So we'll have to see what happens here going forward. But this show, I don't know.
It's mind-boggling to me how so many people can like this 3rd season. I mean, yes, it's not as horrible as the first 2 seasons, but all it is member berries, nostalgia, and yes, it takes place on the ships running around in space, which the first 2 seasons didn't. So I see where it doesn't resemble those first 2 seasons in that respect. Still got all the same dark garbage. You still got Raffi. You still have a terrible, stretched-out story that nothing has really happened in yet. They're kicking the can down each episode, and it's just terrible, childish writing. Written by idiots who apparently don't love Star Trek, but everyone's loving it, so enjoy. I mean,
I didn't. So far, the first 3 episodes I've seen, as far as the other stuff goes, I can't speak to it yet because I haven't seen it. The setup so much, I just said, okay, I can see it telegraphed from a mile away. This is Wrath of Khan. But I didn't mind it so much because like what you just said, Klobby, it wasn't this convoluted, oh, there's some red angel coming to destroy everything. We have to get the girl that knows the secret to everything to fix it. No, it was basically Beverly sends out a message, has no idea. Picard has no idea what the fuck it's about. He just knows she's in trouble, so he's getting the band back together to go get her. And that's what a lot of us have said, that that's all you got to do from the start. Just set it up to where the band has to get back together for some fucking reason, get them back together, and send them on an adventure. That's all we want to see. So
I knew
in that
that's
respect,
what they
got
wanted.
it right. Yeah.
I knew that's what would please people. It just doesn't please me. I don't understand why that's enough. I'm just saying I need it to, first of all, to be fair, you weren't going to please me much unless you completely ignored season 1 and 2 and act like they never happened personally. But I admit the show, it resembles more of those TNG movies. That's the closest it comes to resembling anything similar to Star Trek, because it's actually taking place on spaceships out in space in a Federation ship, a starship. That makes it resemble those. So the first 2 seasons didn't even resemble Star Trek, anything like it. It was just old ass Picard running around doing nothing for 2 seasons with people no one cared about. People are getting to see these people come back, which is what they should have done in the first season. You could thank Patrick Stewart for not having that. But now it still has no story, no coherent story. This 7 episodes in, I want to know when I'm supposed to see any kind of coherent story that means anything. It's just a bunch of phony drama, and this week almost bored me to sleep. This latest one, if it didn't have it had enough stupid to make me laugh to keep me awake, though.
Well, what drove me away is that somebody said like the next episode where I had left off was like very exposition heavy. And I'm like, well, we've already had this pattern that the first episode was good. Second episode was boring. Third episode was okay. So if you're telling me the 4th episode is boring again, then I'm really not going to go for this. So that's the only reason I checked out. I might check back in, but there's other personal reasons. Like I know I've been joking about the whole Terry Mentalis thing, but I don't really give a shit.
That's just me. You might like it. Like I said, look, I give my opinion, but anyone else, you might totally love it. I mean, I'll have to sit in my corner and go, hey,
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
But that's the way it goes, man.
You're not alone, but I'm also not going to pick any fucking sides on this thing either. That's the other thing. No. So Adam Wolford
I can see both sides.
Yeah. I'm not even on my side. So.
No, I'm just pretty kind of much in the middle, just watching this whole thing going.
I will just add that I have watched Terry's previous show, 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
Which I loved. And I see a lot of similarities from a writing standpoint where there are some things I like that hit. And if you've seen the 12 Monkeys show, there's some things that don't hit, like the Raffi storyline or Dr. Crusher calling it evolution. I don't think they needed to go in that direction. It's like with 12 Monkeys, you had that whole end of time plot arc. Just didn't quite hit. It's not that the episodes were awful, but it just didn't quite. It was a little bit cringe, you know. So I've seen some. Sorry, loud truck going by. I've seen some similarities in that writing structure where there's just a few real misses in other things that I like.
And joining us now, we have Mexican Iron Man.
Is my mic working?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear this? Hello, Mike.
Yes, Tom. Yes, Tom.
That's the Mexican Iron Man signal.
Mike.
Adam Wolford says CC Karaoke. Real name is Captain Kirk Karaoke. I can get behind that. I think it's weird to have the last name Karaoke. Well, it just so happens that he had the last name Karaoke and he loves karaoke. So it's like ironic.
I thought he was the inventor.
Makes sense.
I thought he was the inventor of karaoke. Thus, they named it the whole.
No. That was J-Law. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Always refer to
Yes.
J-Law first. That's the best.
J-Law was the
That's-
first
that's-
karaoke brand.
That's
The one
Jay's
that we
law.
all hope to achieve.
She
the
said one
ultimate
day,
success
I would
of.
like to sing a song, but I want to sing without the lyrics being sang at the same time.
Oh, she has
And
the
somebody
lyrics
said
to
it.
every song ever recorded memorized. So
Well,
she doesn't
yeah.
even need karaoke. She just makes it.
That's true. That's true. She
Nice.
made it. I stand corrected now. So how you doing, Mikey?
Hanging in there. I've heard everything that you gentlemen have said. Related to the current topic.
And I'll tell you, everything we said about you is absolutely true.
You
Who you
guys
call-
didn't say anything about me.
Who are you calling
That
gentlemen?
you know of.
I was listening to the whole show since you went live. I was like waiting for my takeout.
You don't know the
Oh,
code.
what we got?
I'm officially silencing myself for this part of the stream.
What?
Yes.
Whatever. You're not. He's just saying that because he's saying that. 'cause
First
he's
of
got
all,
to
I've had two. First of all, I had two rum punches while I was waiting for my takeout order that took forever.
Sweet.
And the current topic is so explosive that I have decided that in the interest of Midnight Edge After Dark, its subscribers, its channel members, and the host and owner of this channel, that I should keep my mouth shut.
I wish I'd have thought of that. You're right. I'm going to stop talking about it too.
No, you're still capable of being gracious and a gentleman, Clobby. I've heard all your comments tonight. Me, however, I am a lit fuse with gasoline right above my head, and I'm just trying to stay out of the way of the gasoline pouring.
Damn, now I
Coffee
want to
also-
hear you. Sorry, go ahead.
And Mike's had it with Tom's bullshit.
No, it has nothing to do with. I love you, Tom. We just
I
had a
know.
love fest an hour before the show started.
I got news for you.
Me and Tom were texting each other how much who loves each other more, and then Tom made the observation that my last text really came across like I was hitting on him.
Oh,
So I sent him the little iced tea thing. I got news for you.
no, you're both adults.
Nah, it's all good. Rip Star Trek sends in 35 South African rands. Thank you so much. Says, I'm walking away from Trek. I can't even do classic anymore. It's just too painful. I'm sorry to hear that. Man,
Don't run away from classic, buddy. Don't
Yeah.
punish it. It's still great, man. We love it.
I kind of understand, though, because this is what happened with me in Star Wars, basically. But yeah.
Yeah. No, don't punish the real stuff, man. Keep it with you. It's still wonderful. The great stuff is still great. This new stuff's not Star Trek, but this other will endure. Stay with it, Rip Star Trek. Don't do this to me.
Zephyr's been a member for 17 months. Thank you so much. Adam Wolford says Star Trek CW feelings on the bridge. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Mikey, what's your reaction to this Star Trek Starfleet Academy business?
Nope. Did you not hear that I'm biting my lip?
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Tom. I can't. Tom, I'm really angry right now about this whole thing. I'm really.
You also said you had a couple drinks,
and I have had a
egg
couple.
you on.
I have had a couple drinks, and that's why I'm.
Look, I would not be your bro if I didn't egg you on.
Tom,
That
in
is
the
our
interest,
jobs.
in the interest of being professional on this show,
Do it.
in the interest of not being a YouTuber and being professional,
Do
I-
it.
Do it.
I will not comment on this latest news that I have discovered this day.
What news?
That the Kurtzman will be having a new show called Star fucking Fleet Academy. Fuck this guy. God, I hate this
Nice.
motherfucker. Why couldn't I just get good Star Trek? Why can't they leave my IP alone? Why did they leave these alone? No, they got to bring this guy back. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 fucking 5, 6 times. Or where are we going to go? To boldly go what? Where no transgender has gone before? To discover strange new genders and strange new gender planets. This week on Star Trek Kurtzman Fucked Up Trek, we go to visit the planet Latinx. Why the fuck don't we have that episode? We might as well, Tom. Let's go to planet Latinx.
Cheers,
Fuck.
Mikey.
Paramount, you made money with Top Gun. You made money on some other things. Just when your network's coming around, just when you get shit on track, you got to go do this. And you know what, CC Karaoke? I love you, my brother. But no, he did not rise because he's some fucking brilliant executive with professional. They gave this motherfucking J.J. Abrams Leach an opportunity. He got his hands on Hawaii 5-0, and this motherfucker rode that shit to the bank, and he, like a parasite, has been fucking stuck at Paramount since then, and we cannot dislodge him. Jesus Christ, stopping my child support apparently would be easier than getting Kurtzman out of Paramount.
Correcto mundo.
Who has more tapes, KK or Kurtzman?
I don't give a flying fuck.
Kurtzman's just cheap. I think that's the big thing.
He's a beta-ass biatch. I told you to... God, I lost it. See what I did? See what I did? See? God. See? God. I can be so much better. But I'm too angry.
I'm right there with you.
I'm going to put myself on timeout.
Okay. Mikey's on timeout. So let's
see what you did, Tom.
No, you come back here. You can be on timeout back here. It's all right.
Way to stir him up, Tom.
I do try. Adam Wolford says Star Trek CW feelings on the bridge. Yes. Yes, indeed. Sean Carter sends in 5 and says, sending my love to the shills who enabled this garbage. Well done. Well, I wouldn't say that. Again, I'm not. This thing is just one of those things. Picard has very little to do with this one way or the other. The only way Picard was going to really change anything is if it was a huge hit. And that's what I was trying to say is who's watching it? Nobody's watching it. Yeah, they're paying attention to the fan response, but they're not getting the ratings for it. We just went over some ratings earlier, and Picard didn't show up nowhere on those ratings. The Elusive says, no matter what anyone may think, we have to admit, hashtag Doomcock was right. Bye-bye, Star Trek. We loved you so. By the way, soon we'll hear Terry will be moving on to other projects' interests. Just you wait. He already has been. This is what I was saying before. He was never, like, at this point, I know we have to kind of, when we do our videos, like we reported earlier, we can only say certain things. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, right? But we did say, like, that's the whole point. They're doing some of this shit is they're trying to work Terry into the mix. And the only reason that's happening is because of the response to this show. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be wanting to do that. So, I don't know. I have no idea what the hell's going on here or why they would even think that that's what they need. But something happened that in the process of that Kurtzman has found a way or renegotiated a way back into this mess. So we'll have to see how it goes. Rip Star Trek says Tom Kurtzman told Metalis to get us effing renewed. I have no idea where you're getting that from without any kind of actual evidence to that. So yeah. Sean Carter says the new cadets will get demerits if their dorms are too well lit.
Oh, I got lots of demerits.
I got a question. I have a question, Tom.
Yes.
Should I be reading anything to like they're now opening it up to sub 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds? Sounds a little Hollywood pedo to me.
Wow. I didn't want to go there, but I was thinking about a few of those jokes earlier, but yeah.
Well, I'm going to go there because why would you make a point of mentioning it? Not
I got
you.
a dozen demerits
Not
in
you.
one night
I
once.
mean, Kurtzman.
Because that's the audience they're trying to bring in here. Micah J says, I guess hashtag Doomcock was right. And then Doug at 1985 says Doomcock has to be laughing right now. I'm sure he is. And but at the same time, he's probably hurting because we're still stuck with this Kurtzman shit.
After
Again,
all the
we don't
times
make
that
the news, we
KK
just
was supposed
report
to
it.
be fired, I have to admit that I'm suspicious that Kurtzman was ever actually going to go anywhere. I appreciate we got our hopes up. We definitely got our hopes up. But I don't know that this really changed what was going to happen.
That's what I'm getting at. Like,
Yeah.
Unless it was some huge, massive success, it wasn't going to, one way or the other.
Yeah.
So, Marks 47 says, April Fools, it's got to be, please. I wish, but it's 2 days too early. So,
Yeah, a little early.
sad to say. Gola 82 says, thank you, Mikey, for conveying my reaction to this news. I'm with Rip Star Trek. This has sickened me to the core. I want nothing more to do with Star Trek, I don't want nothing to do with Star Trek anymore. Yeah, I hear you, brother.
Oh man, that's a shame,
really,
but I understand.
You know, Tom, I really was holding. I really was holding it in for you.
Really, you should just let it rip, brother.
Yeah, honestly, Mike, I think if there's more argument, it's about the actual season 3 of Picard, not about Kurtzman. You want to rip on Kurtzman, like, you're good.
Well, don't get me going on season 3.
Well,
fair.
If that's all that needs to be said on this, let's move on to the other bit of news then.
Let's move on.
Because Jonathan Mayer's lawyer has released some text messages. He claims that show the woman taking blame for the fight. Now, here's the problem with this is I don't think this exonerates Jonathan Majors the way his lawyer thinks it does.
Okay, I don't know about this. What happened, Tom?
Okay.
Last I heard, they have evidence and video and text that is going to exonerate Mr. Major guy.
Well, they released this text.
Let's read it.
Let's see if how much of the text they have here. In 3 sets of messages provided by Caudry and redacted to protect the woman's privacy, the woman allegedly wrote, "Please let me know you're okay when you get this. They assured me that you won't be charged. They said they had to arrest you as protocol when they saw the injuries on me and they know we had a fight." Okay. I'm so angry they did. And I'm sorry that you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. I only just got out of the hospital. Just call me when you're out. I love you. Okay, so again, I don't think this is the slam dunk their lawyer, his lawyer thinks it is. Or his lawyer thinks she thinks it is. Like, because at this point, this just confirms there was a fight. And like they said in the original statement, she was grabbing for his phone. Yeah. And she went to the fucking hospital because of the injuries. So, and then she follows up with, a few hours later, they just called again to check on me, and I reiterated how this was not an attack, and they do not have my blessing on any charges being placed. I read the paper they gave me about strangulation, and I said point blank this did not occur. And should be removed immediately. The judge is definitely going to be told this. She ensured this to me. I know you have the best team and there's nothing to worry about. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can on my end. She means on my end. I also said to tell the judge to know that the origin of the call was to do with me collapsing and passing out, and your worry was your partner due to your communication prior. Out of care. She promised all will be relayed. So here we go again with the 911 call that he made having nothing to do with the incident and having to do with the fact that she collapsed and passed out. Now, but she does go on to say in here, at least though, that he didn't strangle her, evidently. So, again, they released this instead of a tape that they claim to have.
This thing just gets weirder and weirder.
Like, okay, so yeah, what's your guys' reaction? My first reaction to this was just what I just said. Like, I don't think this is the slam dunk that his lawyer thinks that it is.
Doesn't feel like it.
I mean, strangulation leads to someone passing out. It's a possibility.
Well, and okay, I don't think they'll mind me saying this, but some of the ladies were fluttering about this in the Toxic Femme chat, and they brought up the same thing. Nowhere in there does she say, "I'm sorry I lied," or indicating that she lied, or that anything didn't happen necessarily. In fact, it supports every report we've heard that something happened outside of the strangulation. Which, again, I even said before, it didn't necessarily have to be that he strangled her for her to get those marks on it. Remember, I said all he had to do was like grab her around like the jaw or the throat or the face or whatever. And if she's got dangly earrings or whatever, that'll scratch her behind her ear. Like that. Or if he nudged her, pushed her, shoved her in any fucking way, even if it wasn't a strangle, they put that in there for some reason. And there's video supposedly.
I don't want to speculate too much, but there have been prior instances of people who enjoy rough events in the bedroom, and then that ends up turning into
but she's not even saying that though.
Yeah
I mean, she's not even saying, I tried to tell the cops it was all consensual and we were things just got out of hand, right? She's not even saying anything like that. And it still doesn't change the fact that the cab driver supposedly dropped them off at separate places. And this is where I think the harassment charge comes into play, because that means he would have had to have gone back to his residence after he dropped him off somewhere else. Does that make sense?
If he was really heated, I could see a person going back.
Well, even if he just, okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, I'll even give him that he went back and she started in on her shit again. Like, he just went to get his shit, right? He's like, I just want my fucking pants and some clean clothes and shit for tomorrow. Like, leave me the fuck alone or whatever. I'm not even saying that he didn't provoke her. I mean, that's not the point though, right? The point is he is being charged with assault and a few other things on top of it. And all these texts do is support that he assaulted her in some way. Yes, there was a fight. Is she innocent necessarily? No. And that'll probably be taken into consideration when it comes to the actual court situation. But at the same time, it doesn't change that she was obviously injured and he wasn't. Or he would have went to the hospital too.
Where's all the magical videotape?
That's what I'm talking about. Where's this videotape? Because I don't think it really exonerates him as much as he thinks it does.
Sure doesn't sound like it to me, no, it doesn't.
Or his lawyer thinks it does. That's why I meant she, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm with Mr. H on that one, though. You can never believe what the defense attorney says.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing is a lot of people are like, oh, this totally exonerates him. Like, wait a minute, this is coming from his lawyer. We got to take that into consideration here, right? Like,
yeah, from a PR perspective, if they have a tape at all, they can just mention it and hope that it turns favor towards them. But they may look at it and say, yeah, let's not release it. But we did say we have it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Tom.
No, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially because of this whole, like, you know, the whole, like, Me Too shit. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, sure.
This thing just keeps twisting in the weirdest ass direction.
And I mean, it looks like, and you can also look at it from a position of she's just trying to keep a place to live and her income, because she probably, it's him. You know, I mean, I'm just saying, like, look, I'm not trying to say that, you know, he's innocent and she's guilty and vice versa, but I'm just saying, or he's not innocent and she's not guilty. I'm just saying, it's just one of those things that at this point, I think the DA charging him says a lot more than a lot of people realize, because they're not just going to go at it willy-nilly. So, we'll have to see. With that, we got a super chat from Nikki D. Says, maybe I'm just jaded, but that text message seems contrived. Yes. It doesn't sound like a genuine text interaction with a supposed romantic partner. That's the other thing I was saying on Mr. H's stream earlier, Nikki, was that it almost seems like that last part was drafted by a lawyer.
Oh, it certainly
or at least things that she was reiterating
it
from the lawyer. Like the lawyer told her, make sure you get this, this, and this in there and say it like this.
Kind of robotic. very dry, lacking
That's
emotion.
just my interpretation. And Nikki, I agree with you. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm no judge. But if I was Judge Dredd, I'd be the law. What's your guys' take on all this? I mean, again, I'm not trying to ask anybody, do you think he's innocent? Do you think he's guilty? But do you think this really helps his case, I guess is what I'm really asking.
Like you said, I don't think it does at all. No, not at all.
Sometimes the actual truth is very, very strange. Could be a very, very just a wild story of whatever happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, certainly after everybody who ended up being, shown innocent in their day in court, I mean, I've got to give him the benefit. I got to start giving the benefit of the doubt here because it's a long list now.
Yeah.
I said this on the previous show, but even going back to Kevin Spacey, because he was one of the first, and he got through his day in court, and I remember that was like the first one, so everybody was like, Netflix crushed their leading series over it. Now that's not looking so hot.
Yeah.
Mikey, you want to comment on this at all, or are you going to stay?
Well,
I'm
just baffled by this whole thing unwinding the way it is. I'm really baffled. I think the text messages don't necessarily prove anything one way or the other, and who knows if we got all of them, and these are selected releases, and
that's true.
There's no context here. I mean,
yeah.
When I talked about my situation the other day on the live stream, I mean, I had pages and pages and pages, and
right.
This is. I feel like. And again, I sound like a chick when I say I feel like, but when I look at this situation, these are selected texts. We don't have the context at all. They also read a bit awkwardly. And where's the tape? Where's the
I would think that'd be the best evidence you got.
Right. What? Right. That, I mean, get in front of this thing, put it all out there, and let's go.
But that doesn't seem to be the case thus far. I don't know.
No,
if they really have
and
a
so
tape, and if they have a tape, I don't know if it exonerates.
I'm on page.
I'm
on board with your analysis thus far. So,
all right. Well, let's move on from this because this is not something I really wanted to dwell on too much.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No. You guys are fine. It's just it happens to be fucking news, and I have a feeling it's going to lead to him being replaced in the Marvel universe. I'll say it now. I think we're getting closer and closer to that happening, but we'll have to wait and see here. Jennifer Aniston, on the other hand, though, says a whole generation of kids find Friends offensive. You have to be very careful with comedy now.
What?
Well,
yeah.
There've been some rumblings.
Woke. Yeah.
There've been some rumblings about it now. People whining about various older comedies from the 90s.
Yeah. And
people, now that dips into her pocket, she's all for fighting it.
Well, and the reason I bring this up here is I'm not even a Friends fan. I could give a fuck.
Me either.
About Friends. But what I do give a shit about is censorship, and I do care that there was another part of this interview that was a little bit more poignant, and that was that Jennifer talks about woke, and this is something that I think actors and actresses and creatives need to do more often, because if they don't, because the number one question we get here, more than any at all, is when is the woke going to end, right? Like that's the number one question we get every probably single freaking day on any of our shows. And I'm not saying quit asking us that. I mean, it's fine. You can ask us. It's just we don't know the exact answer, but all we can do is give you an idea of what we think, right?
Yeah.
So in the AV version of this, AV Club version of this article, it has a much different headline. And I like this headline. This says, a new generation is too woke for classic comedy. Comedians can't say anything nowadays. It's such a typical thing for comedians to say. It barely even registers anymore. That's how much it's been said lately. That's right. But coming from the mouth of Jennifer Aniston, one of society's most benign comic actors, it does come as a bit of a surprise. Sure, Jen's been in the game long enough for her opinion to have some weight, but her comic stylings were never exactly controversial. Nevertheless, it's a little tricky because you have to be very careful, which makes it really hard for comedians, because the beauty of comedy is that we make fun of ourselves and make fun of life, Aniston tells AFP. In the past, you could joke about a bigot and have a laugh. That was hysterical. And it was about educating people and how ridiculous people were. And now we're not allowed to do that. Who the fuck does that sound like, guys? Sounds
I
like
wonder.
shit we've been saying for a while. But again,
Yeah.
even if she's late to the game, I don't care.
Better
We
late than never.
still need the creatives and the actors up front saying this shit, or nothing is gonna change. That's the
Right.
big answer to that question, is when is the
Yes.
woke gonna go away? When people start saying shit like this, when they're in positions like Jennifer Aniston is. That's when.
You stick your head out that skyscraper window and says, "Welcome to the party, pal."
Exactly. And again, hey, better late than never, right?
Yeah.
So without getting too much deeper into this, because I don't think there's really much more than that needs to be said on this. Let me see if there was much more to it. There's a whole generation of there's the woke business here. The whole generation of kids who are now back to episodes of Friends, and they find them offensive. This is where the other headline came from. Sitcom star claims there were things there that were never intentional, and others, well, we should have thought it through, but I don't think there was a sensitivity like there is now.
Thought what through? That show was like ridiculously vanilla.
Benign and vanilla.
In more ways than one, because it wasn't diverse. I'm sure they hate that.
We're talking about people here now. Look, I'm going to say something half-ass controversial for a second, but please don't take this the wrong way. We're talking about a group of people here who have been saying you need to worry more about the pronouns you're reporting on a person than what actually fucking happened and what kind of a monster they are. Okay?
Right.
And if you're getting to that point, then the shit is not in the right place. You are not on the right side of history, my friend. Who gives a fuck about that shit or respecting their pronouns when that shit's going on? And you guys probably know what I'm talking about, and that's as far as I'm taking this conversation.
I think the generation's already turning over.
I hope so.
It just brings me to what Cameron said on Midnight's Edge the other day, and he's not the first one I've heard it from. He's teaching students today who have grown up, especially over a couple, 3 years of restrictions, and have grown up watching people older than themselves be woke. And it's this natural, it's not the first time in history this has happened. This is why we have generational turnover. Is the kids, they look at what the generation before them are doing and they do something different. It's kind of just a natural human reaction. And today's kids, the 5, 10, 15-year-old kids, they're not as woke as the millennials, because they've grown up saying, nah, this is kind of stupid. Let's do something different. So I think it's already kind of there. It's just that the people who aren't, a part of that millennial generation, they're just not old enough yet to fully have power over the situation, but they're going to.
Yeah.
So we basically just have to realize that we lost the millennials as an entire generation and move on.
Basically,
lost generation there, maybe. A bit of one, not all of them, of course. A chunk, though.
I technically qualify as a millennial. I don't
in what
consider myself
interplanetary
woke,
galaxy?
Really?
Well, just by the year I was born. I mean, I technically fall within that time frame.
No, you got to start with the 19s. You can't go with the 1800s.
Oh, okay.
What the hell?
Get it?
I stand corrected.
My kids are millennials and they're in their 30s, so I guess that makes them millennials, right? I'm a boomer, so
it does, yeah. So it's not 100% of the population, obviously, but it certainly defined the generation.
Yeah. 1980 to 1996 says millennials. Okay, someone says in the chat. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't buy into that whole millennial. Like, to me, anybody who was born basically, because they try to say that I'm a millennial, and I'm like, how does that even factor when I didn't even hear that word until like 20 years later?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, if I'm a millennial, then that's, I don't know what the fuck you call half these up and coming generation, but whatever.
I mean, I fit into the time frame, but I was inspired by the previous generation more than my own generation.
You talk like a Generation Xer.
I'm more on the cusp of Gen X. Basically, like I was raised by a bunch of Gen X people.
Right.
Yeah.
I was born the last year of the boomers. So there you go.
Yeah, my parents, I'm not even sure. I mean, technically, I think they would be boomers because of their parents' age, but they're like younger, on the younger end of, and we're talking, of course, because 9 kids per family each. So definitely boomers in a sense, but Like, no, like my parents also had me a little later than a lot of people usually do too. So like in that respect, I was born in 80, but I don't see how you're a millennial if you're born in 80.
Am I a boomer if I'm born since I was born the last year of the boomer? Or does that mean I'm a Gen Xer by the time I was? I don't know what the hell it makes me.
I
on
don't
that
know.
cusp like that.
I mean, technically, yeah, you're. See,
Technically
that's
a
the thing
boomer, I
with the
guess.
boomer generation is they were still having kids so late that they
Yeah.
Oh my
populated
God.
2 different generations. But yeah,
I just had a horrific realization.
Oh.
If I'm Gen X and if I'm a Latino, then I am Latinx.
Oh no.
It's beyond
Boom,
dispute.
bam. Get it? Boom. Okay, you know what? That was a
Okay.
good one, you guys. That
It
was
was
a
all
fun-
right.
It is. So you are Gen X, according to what Steph put there in the chat. There.
yeah, I've seen different
Tom.
variations on it. I don't know who actually is the end all be all of this because if you Google it, you get various answers to it.
But according to what she put in that time frame, I'm still boomer. Mm.
I would say you have to be born past 1990 to be a millennial. Like to me, it's like you're coming of age during the change of the millennium. Like I was already an adult
Right.
by then. Like that's the thing I look at it as. It's like, I'm a 90s teen.
Of course,
or
I
80s
see it through
kid.
music.
Tom, honest to God, with your commanding knowledge of movies, I swear to God, you're a fucking boomer. I swear to God. Like the stuff I hear you talk about these movies, I'm like, hi. I'm like, his parents weren't alive when that movie came out. How does he know so much about it?
Leonard Maltin's book and other books.
I don't know. I'm just telling you. Tom just flips me out. I swear to God, he's just.
He's amazing.
Yeah, Tom's just freaking unbelievable, amazing.
Indeed.
So yeah, I don't understand this generation crap. I'm not going to pretend to, but we need to get rid of the woke. And the best way to do it is for these celebrities to start speaking out on it. Otherwise, it's not going to change.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. We've got a member chat from Gonzalo Bergali who says millennials are 1980 to 1996. See, I don't agree with that. Zennials, subgroup of Gen X and millennials, 76 to 86. What the fuck? That's
Yeah,
made up
exactly.
bullshit. Gen Z, 1997 to 2010. Alpha, 2010 plus. The fuck?
Yeah, it can get pretty confusing.
Mm.
None of that even makes sense to me, my man. Like, what the hell? And then Professor Haitian says he didn't strangle me. He just put his hands around my throat and squeezed. Also dropping Wildcats Volume 6, number 1 analysis and review tomorrow. So check out his channel for that. And yeah, she might as well have just fucking said that at that point, right? Let me double check in the mod group. Make sure I didn't miss any more. I don't think I did. So there we go. All right, we're good. Zephyr, did we get that one? I think I missed that one last time. Zephyr has been a member for 1 year at the minimum effort puppy level, so thank you so much. So yeah, let's see here. What is going on? Okay, we got Gola82 says, stop, Tom. I am 40. I sure as hell am not a millennial. Exactly. I'm with you on that one, Gola82. No friggin' way. Yeah, Zoomers is what I'd call the newer generation anyway, yeah. And boomers versus Zoomers. We're not even really boomers. That's the stupid part of that whole thing, you know? That is pretty much cut and dry. Like, I can see where you're coming from, Klobby, on being on the cusp of it, but for the most part, it's pretty obvious. If your parents, you know, were basically coming of age or fought in World War II and then had a truckload of kids after that, then they're boomers.
Gotcha. I've always been confused about all that
Yeah,
generational stuff.
that's my understanding of that, because that's what the baby boom was. It was after World War II into the 1950s.
Well, they were born before that. So,
So
you know what? You got boomers. What was the name of the generation before it? Did that have a name, or is it just started with baby boomers?
Depression generation.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just wondering.
I'm not even kidding. It's fucking true. They went through the Depression. I mean,
yeah, I guess could be what it is. I don't know if they had a name for that or not.
Never heard. It was that was the last generation to come out of the Wild West. I guess I don't know what else to call it.
No, that was another generation before.
That was a different
that was a generation before
them.
You're right. Yeah, I keep forgetting the 1920s because then the 20s.
Yeah, greatest generation. The greatest
the
generation.
20s,
right.
and then
No,
the
the
20s
greatest
was,
generation are the boomers.
No, I think the
That's the generation that had the
boomers,
boomers, Mike.
Yeah, they're the ones that had the boomers.
Yes.
They're
The
ones that
silent
saw World War
generation?
II.
That's not a bad name for but the 20s, they had a name for them, didn't they?
I don't
Okay,
know.
greatest generation 1901 to 1924. Silent generation 25 to 45.
Oh, okay. See, that is what they call it. Okay.
Baby boomer 46 to 64.
That's right.
Generation X 65 to 79. Millennial.
Bullshit. That's where I call bullshit right there.
Wait.
Millennials 1980 to 94.
Fuck it. We're not millennials. We're the Pepsi generation. God damn it.
Oh, Tom, it doesn't say on the list between Generation X and Millennial. It doesn't say Pepsi generation.
It is. I'd rather be called the Pepsi generation than a fucking millennial.
Okay, Generation Z 1995 to 2012.
That's bullshit. It should be flip-flopped.
Generation Alpha 2013 to 2025.
What the fuck is alpha shit?
That's what my kid is.
Okay, well, whatever.
I'm looking at the list. It's
but
not right.
Gen Z and millennials should be flip-flopped.
Why?
Because I was an adult before the turn of the millennium.
Oh, that's a good point, huh? That's a stupid name, huh?
Makes no fucking sense to call somebody who was already an adult before the millennium a millennial. I had nothing to do with the millennium. My kid should be a millennial. My kid was born in 2001. That should be a millennial right there. That's the millennial generation.
No, he's called the Generation Z.
That's what I just said. They should be flip-flopped. Growing up, I actually thought we were Gen Z. That's what they always referred to us as, I thought, because we were Gen Z. Because of,
I've always seen it through musical trends, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you had that classic rock thing that turned into, much music pop. You had the grunge generation. And then, mid to late 90s, you got into a whole new thing, right? And
but you
honestly,
had the hip-hop
music
generation
changed,
in between there, too. So, like, it's
and music
kind of
changed again around 2010, 2012. So I can't disagree with the alpha thing in that regard.
And that's more of the electronic generation there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with CC more. There's more music generations than there's anything. You can kind of go by the music.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm going to show you something.
Well, the Roaring 20s had the, that kind of music, the big band and the jazz. And then the 1950s is when shit changed with rock and roll, man. Right? This is bullshit.
Silent generation 28 to 45. Boomers 46, 64.
That's all fine and dandy until you get past there.
Generation X 65 to 80.
Where's greatest?
I'm fighting for my brethren from 80 to 81 to 96. I am sorry. You are not a millennial. No fucking way.
Yeah, that's a little bit hard to take. I mean, do I count as a millennial because I liked bands like Jane's Addiction?
When were you born, CC?
84.
I wouldn't consider you a millennial. Fuck
You're a
no.
millennial.
Because you would have just been becoming an adult at the turn of the century.
Oh yeah, Y2K was a big thing. We had
That's why
all the parties were happening,
Y.
and everyone was like, the world's going to end, so we better do everything tonight.
Generation Y makes more fucking sense because I never even heard the term millennial until like the year 2000-ish, almost. Like just before, like during the Y2K crap and all that stuff.
Maybe it's because then they're saying by the time you grew up, you were in the new millennium. Okay, that sounds stupid.
No, this was somebody trying to read like this one. I guess I will agree with the Gen Y, I guess, thing there. That I'll agree with. Because otherwise, I always heard us referred to as Gen Z when I was growing up. That's the weird thing.
Well,
like when they would refer to us in schools and articles and whatever in our age group, I always remember being referred to as Gen Z.
Well, one thing I'll take from this, without even going exact to 1997, it does suggest that Gen Z is just coming out of college or university, and they're just entering the workforce. So if you want to talk about when woke will change, this suggests that the millennials have obviously been in power recently, but the Gen Z generation is just starting to move in on that territory.
this brings up an interesting point. If you're a millennial, does that mean you're by default an SJW?
Yes. That's why I reject it. Because that's not our generation. That's the next one.
Yeah.
The 97 to 2012 generation are the ones who are doing this shit right now.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, Tom, you're getting a bad rap.
Yes, it's my kids' generation that's fucking this shit all up for us.
And it's my kid's generation that's rejecting all this because he is.
I hope the fuck so.
Dude,
I've heard from many people that Alpha
my
is
10-year-old
rejecting
Max
hard.
My 10-year-old Max is so based, and so are his friends. It is unreal.
That's why I say,
What am I wrong about?
It's the course of human history, right? That's that your kids will
How old
always
are you, Sean?
reject some of the things that they were taught or that they experienced. They're always going to try and advance, and we don't always get it right. But every next generation looks at what they learned and they try to advance upon it in some way.
There was a book about this, CC. I can't remember the name of it. You're right on point. All right, class over.
In any case, glass half full on my part anyways. It's coming. It just takes some time.
Yeah. Sure. Sean Carter says, Tom, you're now officially going to be known as the Millennial Falcon.
Yes.
No! I want to be the Generation X-Wing. Who cares? Anyway, what's everybody got going on here? What is it? Thursday today?
I'm gonna go see my therapist after this Kurtzman announcement.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I'm gonna go. Let me tell you what I'm gonna do after this. Tomorrow, I'm gonna go get my hair did. I'm gonna go get a massage, and I'm gonna go see my therapist because I need a spa day after this news. I'm kidding. I'm gonna put it up on Twitter.
I wish I could get a spa day. I wouldn't even know how to do that. Gen X raised the woke Gen Zs. Yeah, they did. I ain't denying it.
Not unless
Does that
they
mean
waited
the
till
millennials raised?
You want to know why that was? Because our hands were tied behind our backs. We could not do shit for our kids, or to our kids, or to raise our kids. Because if you even looked at your kid the wrong way, your kid would go to the cops.
Daddy, what does CPS stand for?
Oh, they know what CPS fucking stands for. Yeah. And Criticizable the Rainbow Knight wants to know about D&D movie. Been hearing mostly good things. Culture Casino went to see it. He was supposed to get in here and tell us what he thought, but he hasn't got here yet.
Already?
Yeah. Stephanie Janisek says, as Generation XR, I strongly advocate for punk rock attitude, and you know what that is, the middle finger anytime it's needed. Yeah, I'm more of the punk generation, I would say. Yeah. See, I agree with CC. I think we should go more by music, because the music really kind of defines the eras more so than anything.
Well, in that case, we'd have many more generations.
Well, of course you do, because a lot more kids are born in different spurts than they are every 20 years. I think the 20-year generational thing is stupid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, societal trends change way more often.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if you look at my dating history, I cross generations with my activity.
Well, not only that, each generation is influenced by both the adults and the teenagers of that era, right? So at that point, that's roughly a 5-year at most, sometimes 10-year at most area, right? Because like I said, you look at the 50s, coming into the 50s, there was country music and some other things. And I'm sure big band and some other things were still around. I got that era wrong. I'm sorry, Steph, but yes. But then all of a sudden rock and roll happened, right? So then you had the first few years of rock and roll, and then the Beatles happened and shit changed. Then you had that next evolution.
That was all of about 6 years.
I know, and then you're right.
Get into classic rock.
But think about it. That's about the time period of a high school, the high school kids, right?
Oh my God. And then Donna Summer came along.
And then, you're jumping ahead a bit there.
Oh, okay.
Then you had the psychedelic rock. Yeah, then you had the psychedelic rock, which was kind of ushered in by Zeppelin and Pink Floyd.
The Doors. Kind of
stuff. The Doors were definitely a part of that.
And by 1976, it was very different.
Yep.
Even
then that's where Donna
75.
Summer comes in.
I feel love, I feel love, I feel love, I feel love, I feel.
Wait, so there's certainly not 20 years between 1970 and the whole next thing. Yeah.
I love Tom, I love Tom, I love Tom, I love Tom, I love Tom. I love Tom.
Disco down.
Staying at a time, loving a time.
How deep is your love? Is your love? Basically, the Bee Gee generation.
In fact,
punk
even
rock
in that
and-
10-year spread, yeah, it's not all that. You get punk and you get Depeche Mode and all that stuff, which is a whole different genre, even just within that 10-year period.
I think at the
before
time
you
they
get
were
to
calling
grunge.
it
Yeah.
contemporary rock and shit like that. I think. I don't remember what they called it then, but
And then the 80s came. I mean, have you heard like these old 80s
Soft rock.
channels?
yeah, the 80s had a huge variety of music.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about the generation that kicked off rap. It kicked off
Shout.
That is true.
Shout. Let it all out.
and not only that, like it took punk rock into the grunge era. And then you had all kinds of electronic music take over for disco. Pop hits became popular again. Of course, disco helped that a lot.
It extends to clothing styles and hairstyles too.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I agree
right?
with you, right? Like
Yeah.
it does help form. Like there's a anywhere from a 6 to 10 year period where music and movies and, like you're right, pop culture influences a generation, or a generation influences pop culture, and then it goes away and the next generation comes along. And to me, that's a generation is not 20 fucking years. It's every couple of years. Like ask a high school teacher. Any teacher who's taught for any amount of years, how often shit changes.
I don't understand these whippersnappers.
And that's why I say it's like when they say Generation Alpha, for example, in 2012, there was definitely a shift around 2010, 2012. But then there also was around the restrictions of recent years definitely changed people's priorities. And there's only about 6 or 7 years at most between those two events as well.
Well, and you have a very short period there too, CC, when you're talking about the music aspect. Because like at the late part of the 80s, when rap started becoming big, right? So going into the 90s, and this is what I was going to say, I remember going into junior high being all about hip hop dance and shit like that. And by the time I got to high school, it was all about Kurt Cobain and fucking...
Yeah.
Shit had changed overnight there all of a sudden.
They a lot of them started up in the middle of the 80s, 85, 86, but it takes a couple, 3 years for them to get going, and you hit 89, 90 for sure, very, very quickly.
But like, yeah, it was just like, even in my high school period, there was a huge change in just the type and style of things. Like we went into the 90s, like the early 90s had their own kind of style. And then once you get to the grunge era, everything changed. Like then you could, like the grunge era almost felt like proto 2000s. It was kind of weird.
Well, there was definitely an extension of it when you look at bands like Muse, Interpol, the bands that formed in the mid to late 90s and became the bands of the 2000s.
Oh, look who decided to show up.
Hey, sorry, I had some stuff I had to run and go do after Pro show, but I had to come by as soon as I finished up. What's up, guys?
And I could break dance like a motherfucker, too.
We were just talking about generations.
Shit. Yeah, we were arguing over generations.
And I was going to say, on the woke point,
God,
what did we say woke started, 2015, 2016?
A little sooner than that.
It was, I mean,
Way
it's
before.
been around a long
Funnily
time.
enough, I would say like 2012-ish. Because you see it first leak into comics and some other places and music and some other places. And music had never really showed because music's always been diverse, right? But
It's been
it became
slowly building
more
for
stylistic. Yeah, it
decades.
became more stylistic to come out of the closet and be all flashy about it and a big fucking deal about it. And even in that era where Elton John finally admitted, yes, I'm fucking gay, and everybody goes, yeah, we know.
Well, I guess it all depends on what, I mean, I think everybody, or maybe a lot of people, have different notions of what quote unquote woke really means.
Gamergate was 2014, I guess. So yeah, so somewhere between 2012 and 14, I would say it started, and then it was solidified with Ghostbusters. That's why we kind of refer to that as patient zero when it comes to this shit.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about like specifically where Hollywood was overtly exhibiting it with remakes and erasing former characters or replacing them with better versions for the modern audience, or is that kind of what we're talking about?
Broadly speaking,
I
we
guess
started by
broadly.
saying when is woke going to end, and then we got into a conversation on how
Yeah.
long these cultural generations go on for, and that they're
Yeah.
not 20 years long. They're more like maybe
Yeah.
6 or 8 years.
At the most, usually, yeah. Because then I agree, we all kind of came to an agreement, it's seemingly so anyway, about music and stuff like that kind of signifying the beginning and end of a generation more so. And that's what I agreed with CC, because I'm like, if you look at it, the pop culture is usually influenced by the teenagers of the time and the 30-ish, 35-year-olds of the time, right? And how long do high schoolers have? 4 to 6 years, depending on if you have a high school or junior high setting, right? And that's usually when they influence pop culture, and then they move on, and then a new crop of kids comes in, right? Like that's kind of what I was looking at. But yeah,
So based on history, we should really be moving beyond the woke era at about this point. We are shifting.
hopefully, I think there's a shift going on. I do. And it looks like I missed
there
a super
definitely
chat
is.
earlier.
There's pre-Donna Summer and post-Donna Summer. That's could be our...
Oh.
Notation: get Mikey a bunch of Donna Summer records.
I feel tall. I feel tall.
You better not. At least not while I don't give you permission anyway. Did I miss this one or did I get this one?
Ryan, I
Millennials
had
are also
two-
called Gen Y, Tom. I don't think I got that one.
Ryan, I
I
had
missed
2
this one,
doubles
too.
before I started the show.
He's good.
You had
March
2 double
47
cheeseburgers or double scotch?
Double rum.
Sent me $2 to
No.
put towards my safe space because I'm now a millennial. Thank you so very much. That's what I needed. EVA Unit says, I will never forgive R&B. He cried crocodile tears for Picard Season 3 and gave incompetent Kurtzman exactly what he wanted. I'm out. Yeah, I'm not getting in the middle of this shit, guys. I put out a post. I am not getting in the middle of this shit.
We appreciate
It
the
is-
super chat, though. It's
Yes,
just,
I do. It's just
yeah.
high school bullshit, guys, to me. It's over a fucking TV show. I think both parties are overreacting. I think it's just ridiculous, and I'm not going to get drawn into it. Jaeger has been a member for a month and says, Millennial Tom. As a Millennial Tom, do you feel heard and safe? No, I don't. Is all Gen X good and jumping out of windows? Mikey, that one's for you.
I was about to say,
happened?
we know who's good at jumping out windows, Tom. Cue up the clip.
Oh, yes. I don't have a clip, but
You
'cause
feel
Culture's
hurt
not
as
here.
of all Jenkins, and where did the name in it?
And where did the Midnight's Edge come from? Well, my understanding from Andre is that it was a combination of Midnight Suns and Marvel Edge. So that's my understanding of that.
Okay.
I think we should rename this show on this channel Millennial Edge After Dark.
Fuck
Marvel
you.
Age or Marvel Edge?
Get it, Tom? Millennial Edge?
No.
Yeah, great. Then everybody that comes into the chat will only watch for 45 seconds and then leave.
Yeah, right. Rip Star Trek says shift going on. Now let's double down on SH crap. Oh, the
SH.
secret hideout cred. Now,
Oh.
yeah. Well, they've got 2 years, so this could also just be Alex Kurtzman trying to get another hit the next 2 years. Don't count that out either.
And that's what we need. Teenager Star Trek. My God, it hadn't been bad enough.
I mean, despite reports of his extension, he was under contract for the next couple of years to begin
That's
with,
what I'm
right?
saying.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's been extended on anything. We just heard rumors. That's all we reported on. That's what I was just saying is like he could just be trying to get these shows off the ground, and if he gets one hit, then maybe that will be exactly what he needs. Or, like I said, there's all this other stuff going on with their television department right now. It may very well be happening. And they're just looking at it as the devil we know kind of a situation.
Mm-hmm. Especially if they may be trying to sell Paramount or put it on the block.
And that has been something we've talked about before, Valiant, and I would put that up before I would put up Disney selling anything.
Oh, well, I mean, you look right now. I mean, I know you and I have talked about this many times, Tom. I mean, if you look at Paramount right now, that was always the one, especially when it was undergoing its merger, consolidation, Viacom, CBS, Paramount, what the hell's our name? And then they decided to settle on Paramount, and I said, okay, interesting. And I mean, you look at their market capitalization right now. Do you know what the entirety of all of the publicly traded stock of Paramount is worth collectively right now? $14.3 billion. That's like less than a tenth of the Walt Disney Company. Apple could literally come in and write a check from cash and
Dude,
buy
they could
this.
take it out of their petty cash.
Yeah, they could. And that, to me, I mean, look, if you're going to want to sell your studio like Paramount, there's only so many buyers because, of course, they have a broadcast network under their banner, CBS. So you can't sell it to a Comcast. You can't sell it to a Disney. You can't. There's Amazon and there's Apple. Those are the only two players out there, at least domestic players. Short of selling it to some Chinese company, that you could go to, that don't already have broadcast networks and take the entire ball of wax that probably would not create an antitrust issue because Amazon doesn't have its own studio, although they're getting more like that. We've seen Apple is partnering with Skydance, but they don't own Skydance. That would be a buy. $14 billion for Apple tomorrow. Write a check. But you put somebody like Kurtzman back in there and you have contracts. Say, hey, look, we've got more Star Trek content under contract right
you
now.
Can shake a fucking stick at.
That's right. So that's to me, that's what I see with Paramount.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're still trying to set themselves up for something.
They got all the Taylor Sheridan stuff. They got some of the most popular things on television. Yellowstone, 1923, 1883, Tulsa King, all
They're
these.
getting sued over South Park.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
After they gave them that huge fucking deal.
Paramount is
That's
on
the kicker of the
sale,
nuts right
baby.
Now, I bet.
Oh,
I guarantee
I
it.
know.
But no, but on that, since you're here, I didn't mean to stretch out the show anymore. So if anybody does have to take off, just let me know. But since you're here, I'm going to ask you about this shit because this just came out a few hours ago. Breaking: the Florida Attorney General's office demands texts, emails, and public records from members of the former district encompassing Disney.
Yep. No
the
surprise
office wants
there.
any documents about attempting to avoid actions by the governor and legislation. And there's a letter that was put out here.
Holy shit.
I know. I saw that. You have to ask yourself, and this is what struck me, is when this news broke yesterday, and I put out a video this morning.
Yeah, because I asked you about this initially through that Grace Randolph bit, right?
Yes. Which I didn't watch her crap. I'm sure it was incomplete.
Oh, I didn't either. She was saying it in that tweet, though. Like, she's like, oh, this is the thing that's going to get them. Fucking A.
Yeah, I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. And I said this earlier on Pro's show. Look, the simple version is that if you believe that a little, podunk special district, one of more than 1,000 in the state of Florida, can do some kind of underhanded trick that prevents the Florida state legislature, by which they operate under the privilege and grace of, that they can do an end run around them, you fell off the wrong side of the turnip truck, my friend. The legislature can undo any of this in a snap of a finger. And the reason they're asking for this, because I thought Disney's statement was quite hilarious. Apart from the language in there, they tried to say, well, we did this according to the rules. We did this under the Florida Sunshine Laws in a public meeting. We gave our notice and all this. And then you have to ask yourself, wait a minute. If that's true...
They're hiding behind some housing development law or some shit like that, wasn't it?
Do you really think that the Florida State Legislature, Ron DeSantis' office, and all, that nobody caught wind of this in the middle of one of the biggest turnovers right now of power in Central Florida? Do you really think they just forgot or they missed it? Come on, folks. This is why they're asking for all of this. They want everything, and they're going to be given it come hell or high water, because you damn well know there was a ton of deception here on the part of the Walt Disney Company. Unequivocally.
So yeah, what we got here is a letter that states they have to turn over all emails, text messages, and other correspondence from or to employees, board members, or other affiliates of the Reedy Creek Improvement District regarding the following topics: documents discussing agreements, covenants, or similar documents approved or considered by the Board of Supervisors on February 8th, 2023. Please limit your search to documents discussing an intention or goal of circumventing, avoiding, frustrating, mitigating, or otherwise attempting to avoid the effects of the anticipated actions by the Florida governor and Florida red legislation. If you believe that the individual is no longer affiliated with the Reedy Creek Improvement, and they still have these records, get them and tell them to get their asses over here now, because we are not going to let Disney get away with it. We're not going to take it.
Yep. Oh, it's a Dee Snider moment. And look, I made a joke earlier, a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I mean, whatever new taxes that the Florida state legislature is considering in committee right now to levy on the properties inside the former RCID, they probably just bumped it up by 25%.
So, Mikey, do you know anything about this kind of stuff?
I do. And Vance did an excellent job of going over it. And what strikes me more than anything is that when you're dealing with municipalities, and unlike, how do I explain this? You know, when we see situations like the Victoria Alonso situation where you have civil court proceedings, things are much, much different when you get into municipalities and state government when you're dealing with the laws that Valiant's talking about, because there's a variety of things that they can do to essentially initiate discovery without having to actually go to court per se, you know, and having to, you know, go to arbitration and all that type of thing. And so I think that this is a fascinating move, and it goes back to the videos that Valiant's been doing for the better part of a year, really, that you don't screw around. I mean, you know, this is a no screw around moment. And it's funny because to me, what's most fascinating is that when we talk about what the screw up that Disney did by its own actions, because I firmly believe that had it not started the forest fire that it started in Florida, it would still have Reedy Creek to this day. Had it not started its own forest fires and burnt this thing down, they would still have it. And by this type of thing happening, the costs of them losing it only exacerbate even more. You know, it's like it's a headache that just won't go away.
Yeah, and I threw this in the private chat, and then I threw it in the chat. You know, just go ahead and mark it. Don't leave the show, folks. Just go ahead and mark that. That's a video that Andrew did this morning. And I talked to Andrew last night as soon as the news broke, and he was laughing. He's like, dude, I'm already so far up this thing. I'm going to have a video out in like 20 minutes. And he put one out on this, and Andrew's going to be coming by Sunday for the live show. We're going to discuss all this. And that's the video he did from this morning. He said, it took me 20 minutes of digging into Florida statutes to find basically how this whole thing that Disney did is in complete violation of Florida state law. And this isn't going to go anywhere, folks. And Andrew, to remind everybody out there, when he was living in Florida, 10 years as an attorney practicing in Florida, and his speciality was special taxing districts. He was one of maybe a dozen attorneys who had that focus in the entire state of Florida. There's no YouTuber on earth that knows this legal subject matter more expertly than Andrew Esquire.
All right, I can't wait to tune into that. If they're not beyond the panel, if not, one or the other. Couple weeks late, says $39.99 South African Rands here. Thank you. Thanks for the great R&B interview on 4K for you. Thank you so much. I'm sure Valiant wishes he could have been there.
I'm so sorry I missed that. I even DM'd Robert last night right before y'all started. I'm like, I feel this is the second time I've missed him when he's been on. It was an unavoidable conflict. The last one, I think, for a little while now with my wife doing this is, you know, performance and recital season, and we got tech rehearsals, and I was sorry I missed it. I always seem to miss Robert when he's around, but yeah, y'all had a great show.
Oh, he'll be back because we only got to scratch the surface of the stuff. Because basically what we talked to him mostly about was all the stuff he's worked on as far as Blu-ray and DVD special features and stuff like that. And we barely got to most of it. There's still a bunch we didn't get to. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be back. I know Bill Hunt is supposed to be back with him. We've got James Etok, who's going to be coming, I believe, next week. We've had on the main channel before, and we'll get to talk to him about all his experiences with the He-Man DVDs, and I think he's working on some Ghostbusters stuff right now, or at least in part working with the guys who are working on that, so some news there maybe. So yeah, that's exciting news for 4K for you next time on the program as well. So, but yeah, we'll check out that video, and I can't wait to hear what Andrew has to say about all this, because this sounds like it's going to get pretty spicy. Do you think they actually have any legs to stand on here, Valiant? I kind of know the answer already, but...
Does Disney? No, because,
No.
I mean, the whole point, when you watch Andrew's video, now he's actually going to cite, he pulls up the actual Florida statutes, and he cites you the regulations involving exactly what Disney did here and how they violated it in no uncertain terms. But the bottom line is that they clearly acted in bad faith. I mean, they knew that legislation had been passed. This district is effectively being completely dissolved and then immediately reformed under new Florida statutes that regulate every other special taxing district in Florida, save Reedy Creek. You know, since 1967. That's why they're changing. And they tried to pass this to do an end run around what the Florida state legislature did, thinking that, oh yeah, we can just pass a little charter amendment for our dinky-doo special taxing district, and the elected officials in the state of Florida can't do a thing about it. And it's like, it's the dumbest thing on earth. So no, there's no legal standing for what they did. None. They were trying to be cute. This was a display by Disney so they could show their political side, I think, that they're doing everything they can. They're trying to fight this. They're going to stick a middle finger into the face of Florida voters on this one so they can show, look, we're with you. We're advocates. It's not going to work, and I think they knew that going in, to be quite frank, but they had to do something to save face.
Mikey, anything to say to that?
I agree with that 100%. Can't add anything to that.
CC, looked like you were going to say something.
Yeah, this is a layman's question on my part, but can Disney be held accountable for back taxes in previous years or only for the time going forward?
Well, I mean, there's several answers to that, I guess. The easiest answer is you have to go to the United States Constitution, because the United States Constitution, which governs everything in this country, says that there are to be no ex post facto laws passed. And that includes the U.S. legislature and, of course, all subordinate governing bodies, including state legislatures, meaning you can't pass a law that is put into effect retroactively back to, the past tense. Now, of course, the government really doesn't care about the Constitution anymore, and that has been violated numerous times. In the state of Florida, do I think they're going to go backwards and try to collect for years past? No. I don't think they would do that anyway. That's too much of a goofy fight, because they know, I think, if they were to try to go down that road, then they would absolutely wind up in the Florida State Supreme Court with Disney suing them, and there's a better than average chance that Disney would probably win that fight. The best thing for the Florida legislature to do at this point, the changes have been made effective this date. Now going forward, this is what you're dealing with. And I think every time that Disney tries to raise another middle finger, I think you raise the property tax millage another 5 or 10 mils. That's what you do until they shut the hell up. And that's it. They have had such a ridiculous advantage in the state of Florida, not just against other theme parks, but against every other private company and every other special taxing district for so long. And they finally stuck their foot in their mouth so deeply that they gave the Florida state legislature, after 60 years, finally the political willpower to do what should have been done decades ago. There's no going back.
Kalabby, anything to respond to that all?
No, sir. I leave it to the professionals like VR.
I hear
That's
you.
That's why you pay him the big bucks.
Where's my YouTube big bucks?
I want my internet monies.
Yeah, I want my internet monies. It's like the episode of South Park.
Yep. He got it. He got it.
Oh, I know. Oh, did you hear? I mean, I had WDW Pro doing Butters what in the butt to close out the show on Sunday.
Have you been seeing the newer season so far? It's been amazing.
I have not. I've got to go catch up. I've
God,
been
it's
so
good.
busy. Like the last 4 days, I think all I've done is work and sleep, and it's barely any of it's been for YouTube. It's a busy time of year for me right now, just like Mike's busy time of year. And I've got so much catching up to do.
No, they've been firing on all cylinders pretty much since the streaming wars. They've been back to basics. Yeah.
Oh, you mean that thing Paramount got sued for?
Yeah. Which is funny because like that show could almost be used as like Exhibit B.
Yes, it could.
Well, not like Trey and Matt, exactly what you fuckers are up to here, but like, because that's what that whole episode is about. For those who haven't seen it, is that the boys get in trouble because they're working for 2 separate streaming services, even though they have an exclusive contract with one.
Well, they said this was for TV shows and this was for movies. What do you want me to do? They've got a legit argument. If there was nothing in the contract with HBO,
yes, but
exclusively broadcasting South Park.
Are those really movies though? Because here's the thing that's going to kill them: is they went and released the first set of them as a season. When they released them, the COVID ones, it was released as a season.
Well, they could say it was a limited series. I mean, that's a different category in Hollywood. Limited series versus.
I don't think Paramount's going to get out of this too well. I really don't.
They're going to come to some kind of settlement before it gets to court. Yeah,
I'm sure, but yeah. Regardless, yeah, that's where things started getting back on track. The COVID episodes were okay, but I felt like the COVID episodes were almost like the last couple years. Good lead in, and then all of a sudden they kind of drop off because it's not like they're afraid to take something on too head on. Now lately it's just been like, fuck it, we're taking it all head on. So yeah. Even Japanese toilets.
Yeah.
It makes you want to get one too, that episode.
Oh. I've always wanted one.
Yeah, so small. Right? So small.
That episode's funny because Randy gets a Japanese toilet. So everybody in town starts telling him that he's starting to act like an uppity asshole. So he starts this whole campaign that everybody should get Japanese toilets. Like, seriously, you can get ones as cheap as like in the 10 grand. That was a funny episode too. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to get out of that one, but it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be some popcorn fun. I can guarantee you that. But yeah, anything more to say on this Reedy Creek deal, anybody, before we move on from there? Or Mikey, anything more?
This is so good. This is like watching a scripted
I got to
drama
imagine this is
happen
like porn for you.
Oh my God, it is. It's like it's scripted drama. I mean, I just couldn't make this shit up. And this is a fire. This is, Smokey the Bear used to say only you can prevent your own forest fires. Well, that's Disney right there.
But with that, I don't know. Was there anything else to talk about? Did anybody else have any topics on hand they wanted to discuss? Because I think we've nailed them all.
Yeah.
Nailed. You got all the super chats and everything?
I believe I did. I think, well, wait, there might be one more member chat. Let me look. I don't think we got this one member chat here. Let me post it up here. Doo-ba-doo-doo. Michael Gonzalez says, look up Strauss-Howe generational theory. Generational theory. Society cycles through 4 gens of attitudes: high, awakening, boomer, unraveling, Gen X, crisis, millennial. Yeah, I've heard that assessment too. See, that to me, I don't know if that's more of a generational thing or a societal thing, because you can have a lot happen in a few years. Like, look at how we went from the Depression to getting out of the Depression because of the war in just a matter of like a couple of years. But I get what you're saying, though. Totally get it. But anyhow, math porn. We don't allow math porn here unless Mikey's the one doing it.
I thought I was allowed to do that.
I just said you're the only one.
Only you.
Oh.
That is a genre of music.
You. Except for Valiant could get in on the game.
Now I just want to listen to a Donna Summer playlist.
How did we get on? I missed the Donna Summers. You know what? I'm not going to ask.
Honestly, we just found out that Mikey is a huge Donna Summers fan.
Yeah.
It's Last Dance.
Is there an
Last
emoji
Dance.
for that?
It's the last chance for Alf.
I see what you did there, Valiant.
Looking for some hot stuff, baby. I don't know all the words.
Nobody does.
Kitty Bear's in the house. How you doing, Kitty Bear? Sends in €2, and he's going to sponsor the next episode of MEAD Radio. He already sent in his request, kids. So hopefully I'll get to that either tonight or tomorrow for sure. Disney's best show is Disney's real live love drama. Or real life love drama.
Real
exactly.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Mikey's
We got some more Disney real life drama coming Monday, baby.
It's been like a reality show, man. It's just nuts.
I know. Annual stockholder meeting Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Good Lord.
Because they had today, they had a bunch of layoffs at ABC.
Yep.
China.
Yeah. And y'all know normally I would never like try to live stream over y'all, doing Midnight's Edge in the morning, but it's one of those Disney earnings calls, entertainment stock report.
Well, we should have you in the
It's-
background just giving us updates every once in a while.
I'm actually like I
I'm
had
live
to
at my stream right now. Here's the
It's at
update.
10 a.m. California time.
We'll just
isn't it?
poach your stream.
11 a.m.
and
California.
We'll give
yeah.
you like the heads up, and it'll actually have a delay, so it'll be just like when you're going live.
Yeah.
All right, we're going live to the Valiant stream right now.
Yeah.
Valiant, what's the update?
It'll be
Dude,
it's
I was
1
telling
p.m.
Valiant,
Eastern.
I was telling-
Monday.
I was telling Valiant the other day, a couple weeks ago when he and I were talking, if I were in California, I would be on site and I would be like phoning in. We're here at the
yes.
Valiant Renegade channel live with Mexican
Yes.
Iron Man correspondent. Mr. Mouse, can you describe the layoffs? Sir, Mr. Mouse, Mr. Iger Mouse. Because you know me, I'd be so obnoxious. Can you imagine we catch me live streaming on Midnight's Edge and Valiant and like show Mexican Iron Man's getting arrested?
You need to look the next time you're back out that way that you can just go in front of the park and just record some goofy stuff like that. This is Mexican Iron Man in front of Disney. Just record it and we'll use it in a live show. I think it'd be hilarious as bumpers.
Right. Les Nessman.
Yeah. I'll bring Bambino. He'll be like Bambino, the financial comic dog for him to poop on.
I would love to get out there.
Bob Iger's office, right by his car, and Bambino. What are you doing? For you to poop on.
What time did you say that started, Valiant? I didn't hear what time.
It's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, this coming Monday. So it'll be about an hour into the MEAD show or to the Midnight's Edge in the morning show. But I mean, just look, people have just come to expect me to cover the Disney stock and earnings thing. So I had to kind of map this out. I hate streaming when other friends are streaming on the regular shows. I'm like, but this is just kind of those one-offs that it's like, oh, shit happens. So,
After a while, you can't always please everybody. It's not.
No, but I mean, I try to do what I can. I mean, I'm sure we'll have, most people are going to be watching you guys, which I hope they will. And I mean, we'll cover it. And then when they finish watching Midnight's Edge in the morning, they come back and just catch the replay on the stockholder report when they're done.
Well, so with that, I think we should probably wrap it up, although I think things are going to get much crazier over the next few days, especially after the other news in the political world. That I'm not oh boy, this is going to get fun. Shit's about to get off the
New
hook,
York
as they
is
say.
so stupid.
Yes,
So stupid.
Always on the weekend too. The big ones always
I'll
happen
get
on
my
weekend.
popcorn.
All right, kids, we're not getting into that because that's not what we cover, but I know these guys
we are
probably
not
know what
doing
I'm
that.
referring
That's
to.
why I didn't name any names. I just said New York stupid.
Yep.
Yes.
And I agree with Matt Vader. Tacos are better than Chinese food. This is true.
How about Chinese tacos?
Is there such thing?
There's no such thing. What's
You can
Chinese
make
food
it.
in
Oh,
the
that's
taco.
it. $1 million.
You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
$1 million idea. Valiant Renegades, Chinese tacos.
You crazy son of a bitch.
First of all, Mexicans wouldn't eat them, and Chinese wouldn't know what they are.
I don't
They'd
care
be like,
about that.
"Hey, man."
I'm selling it to white people.
I've
they
never
buy
seen-
Hey,
anything.
man, I ain't putting no tacos because I don't know what kind of meat in there, man.
Basically,
Some
you just
rabbit
tell
chicken.
them Just give them a burrito and tell them it's a big egg roll.
Yeah.
They'll try. That's where the cross line is. Egg rolls and burritos.
I take a
From
taco
there,
shell, put some
you can expand.
sweet and sour rabbit chicken, and then put a little lo mein and some pico de gallo
I'm
on
not
top.
saying my people are racist, but when you drive by the busiest Chinese restaurants, you never see a bunch of Mexicans in there. I'm just saying.
I see them working there.
I see a bunch of Chinese people at Mexican restaurants.
I was gonna say, yeah, and they do around here. They come there all the time. Of course, to be fair, like our Chinese buffet is more like an Americanized Chinese buffet. I'm totally aware of that. Like, yeah, it's very much.
Yeah, they got the cheeseburgers under the heat lamps for you.
No, but they've got like, well,
Some do.
not exactly, but close. Like they've got like mozzarella sticks and like fucking cheesy tater tots and shit like that. It's like onion rings. Like, no fucking way. Yeah, chicken nuggets, sure. I remember when I used to have to go to the Chinese restaurant and get the kids to actually eat like the chicken you used to eat with the sweet and sour sauce and stuff, and just tell them it's just like chicken nuggets. Eat it. You know.
All
Now
of
they just
that
say, "Fuck it,"
sounds
and they have
really
chicken
good in a
nuggets.
taco.
Yes, you could really make some excellent. We've got an idea here. I think you're right. I'll play it
Mozzarella
again.
stick
All
right
right,
at the
well, you
bottom.
white people work on that while
You did. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
What about us white people, Mike?
I said you crazy white people go with that idea while we Mexican people boycott. Sorry.
I don't know if many would boycott.
You wouldn't sell my Chinese tacos on your taco truck.
Oh,
No.
here we got a recipe.
No. Disgusting. Sounds ugh.
There's already a thing.
God damn
Chinese
it!
tacos. Asian twist to Mexican food.
Oh, for God's
Brown
sake.
the ground beef. When the beef is lightly browned, add garlic and oyster sauce. Reduce heat to low and stir occasionally while frying tortillas. Heat oil in small pan over
How is
That's
that
kinda redundant.
Chinese?
high heat. Fry tortillas into taco shapes. Prepare tacos as desired with tomatoes and olives. And there you go. I guess. I don't know. That's what it says.
Olives
here.
in the taco.
Oh, olives already
There's
going to taco.
nothing Chinese in there.
Yeah, outside of the mix. Here's something that actually looks like Chinese tacos. This is what you're talking about here. Here we go. Here we go. This is what you're getting at. Something like this. 3 boneless, skinless chicken breasts cut into thin strips. 1 to 2 cloves of garlic mince. 1 tablespoon of grated
Yep,
ginger.
I see soy sauce.
2
I see
tablespoons
honey.
of soy
Yeah.
sauce. 1 tablespoon of honey. 1 green onion cut into thin slices. 12 taco shells. 2 cups of shredded lettuce. Honestly, I'd say you could do that in like a huge egg roll shell and make like a burrito out of it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Then it would just be an egg roll.
Mikey's the only one who's against this. That's why I feel upset.
You call it a Chinese
Why do you gotta get in
chimichanga?
the way of my fucking dream all the time?
Who wants a Chinese chimichanga?
Oh,
I want
now-
a Chinese.
now-
I want a Chinese.
Okay, so now I don't support your goals, Tom. Is that what you're saying?
Cultural appropriation.
You're not being supportive enough.
Wow. Wow, me of all people on the internet, me not supportive of your
I'm
dream.
kidding. I'm kidding, of course. No, I'd probably get behind you and be like, no Mexican or no Chinese tacos or Mexican Chinese food. There's no such thing. Interesting
Burritos is the
combination.
thing that's not Mexican, but everybody thinks it is.
Is it really not Mexican?
Burritos
at
is
all?
not like if you go to Mexico, you don't order burritos.
They have them at my one Mexican. Oh, both
It's
of
a
them.
Tex-Mex American thing. It's a,
That makes sense. Kind of like chili.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Good,
Tom,
yeah.
you're so smart.
Not really.
That's why you're not a millennial.
That's true. Or a Gen Xer.
Yeah.
Brett Cohen says Mongolian lamb taco shell. It's all I'm saying. Mongolian lamb? You know the problem with this is, you know what you're going to run into sooner or later? It's going to be too much like a gyro if you get too crazy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But that would be with pita, not a tortilla.
No, but they're similar. Have you ever heard of chalupa before from Taco Bell?
Yeah, I remember
They're
those.
basically a pita shell. fry.
Again, another non-Mexican
Oh,
item.
I totally know what a real chalupa
I mean,
looks like
come on,
compared to
bro.
an actual one at Taco Bell. That is not even close. Chalupa means like what? Big boat or boat in Mexican anyway. Like, I ordered one at an authentic place once. It was literally like this big taco shell, like a boat, with all this crud in it. I had no idea what it was.
Because you had gone to Taco Bell, you thought it was a thing, right?
I thought, okay, I'm just gonna get the fancier version of that. No, that's like basically just fried bread with shit in it.
Well, it's a variation of a it's not a taco shell or tortilla as we classically know it. It's like its own kind of bread. It's like more like it's more like naan, like almost like an Indian naan. It's thicker and stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually from the region I'm from. It's a southern Mexican dish. I mean, because I'm actually my family's from Yucatan.
See, you got to take me out and get some real food. So that's the thing.
Yeah,
Indian
but it's not
food is so
the
good.
Taco Bell thing. It's not.
No. But that's a video we got to make is Taco Bell versus real food.
Give
You and
me
I,
all
whenever
the
we get
spice.
together.
Oh, well, I see how self-serving that is. So I take Tom to real authentic Mexican, and then I take him to Taco Bell.
Yeah. So we can compare for science.
I see how you're talking me into that shit. No.
Yeah. We'll videotape it and put it out. It's tax deductible then, Mikey.
No, don't you come at me with that, Tom.
All of
I
it's
watch
tax
you
deductible
now.
then.
I see you.
I figured this shit out. It's the key. No, that would be fun. Like if we ever actually were gonna make a midnight snacks channel like Culture really wants us to, that's what it would really be, is like me and Mikey just eating crazy foods all the time.
Can you imagine the places we go and the things we do? We're here down by the bayou, and we're going to try ourselves some gator feet.
Here we are with our 13th video at Hooters. And
You're going to be outside. You're going to be outside. You're like, and I'm here in front of Hooters, and Mike still will not leave.
so we're like, we tried to get in, but they wouldn't let Mikey in after last week's incident. So I'm trying to bribe them now. No, yeah. Mikey's still in there. No, I couldn't probably drag you out of a strip club. That'd be I just need $20 more.
I get all Greta Thunberg and I chain myself to the pole. I'm not leaving.
She said she'd give me a lap dance for 40. That's a deal. It's like it's on sale.
I'd like glue myself to the floor of the strip club.
You might not even have to use glue in a strip club. Never mind.
Oh,
probably not.
Mecha J, to answer your question, no. In fact, I'm going to watch it after the show. I haven't got a chance to because I don't have cable, and HBO Max doesn't get them until like the Thursday after, which is kind of weird. So like, yeah, but that's why I was curious if they're still on Hulu or not, because that's why we were talking about it earlier on Pro's show, because I'm like, are you sure they still are? Because that's how I used to watch it. And they would be on at midnight the night they come out on Hulu. But now that they switched them over to HBO Max, that's what pissed me off, is I have to wait that much longer to watch
well,
it. Well,
you know,
there's like middle of the afternoon or whatever on Thursdays.
I guess it depends if you've got like regular Hulu or Hulu plus live TV, because that does change the dynamic, because that's like a full cable subscription if you do that. And so you probably do have some on-demand stuff there with Comedy Central or whoever still got the most recent season to where you can watch it on demand. I haven't looked in Hulu in a while, but I know I've watched South Park on demand in Hulu many times. I've been using HBO Max more recently for that, but then again, I don't know.
Going down South Park, gonna have myself time. We are caught up. So kids, we're gonna play you out here. Valiant, what do you got coming up?
Well, we've got the Sunday live show for sure, and then we've got the Monday annual stockholder meeting for the Walt Disney Company, which I'm sure is going to be so much fun. That, of course, unlike earnings calls, they tend to do more kind of big headline announcements at those types of meetings. So we'll see what we get. Got a couple of videos coming up, just kind of some general content here, so just stay tuned. Of course, we've got the second channel that's just going really quickly now. We were at 2,900 subscribers 2 days ago. Now we're at 3,200. It's up like 1,500 subs in the last month.
Wow.
So and that's Renegade Online out there, and that's all the best of the best clips from the live show that's being put on there. So there's a video every single day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, at 1 p.m. Central or 2 p.m. Eastern that drops on there. So we're actually culling through all the Melanie Mac stuff right now. We got a ton of videos from that live show, but those have been going gangbusters.
Should I sing the new version of Kiss the Girl?
Oh, you can sing it.
There you see her sitting there across the way. She's not there for your pleasure, just to be looked at. It don't take a word. I fucked it up. But you must have permission to go and kiss the girl. I'll write it. I swear I'll get there.
Or you'll end up in court.
Or
Don't
kiss the
misgender when you
non-binary-
kiss the girl.
Yeah.
you a biologist?
Non-binary individual.
I'm a biologist.
Do you really know what a girl is?
Yeah, what's the girl?
So karaoke, CC, man.
Oh my God, I just thought of one. Have you ever really, really known what is a woman?
What is? Oh,
Kevin Smith.
nice.
CC, what you got coming up, brother?
Generally, Friday nights karaoke after the late show with Mexican Iron Man, and in the future, possibly some other things. Looking to actually start interviewing artists and maybe do a show that's literally, well, what you're doing right now is a live acoustic guitar and some live songs. So we'll see.
I'm gonna bring it on.
That's more future term, but
I went and bought a guitar for this. I have a few already, but I bought a widow one.
Nice.
I didn't know you played
Hey.
a guitar.
I didn't either till today.
yeah, Punk and I are looking at starting a show that's dedicated to that, and even on regular karaoke, bust it out if you want. Just play it.
I
sing
think
it.
Tom is going to have to prepare an original song for when Super Mario Brothers absolutely buries The Little Mermaid at the box office.
We need more parody karaoke for sure. Change up the lyrics.
Little ditty about Mickey the Mouse. And the woke that brought down the big mouse house. So yeah, Friday nights karaoke. Anything else, CC, you want to plug before we do go?
Nah, mainly just that. Everything else is still future plans.
All right. Clobbering times.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, and great being here with all you great friends on the panel and wonderful chat out there. Been about a little less than an hour. Raquel and Mark D will join me on the big Clobby's Clubhouse tonight, so looking forward to that. I'll probably hang out with Nick Weiser and the Comic Shop gang tomorrow night on Friday night Comic Shop at 8:30. I think he's doing that still. And of course, Saturday night Star Trek, continuing our ongoing mission review all of real Star Trek, starting season 6 of Deep Space Nine this week with 4 more episodes. And, Mark D's Sunday Night Geekery as well. So on Sunday nights at 10 Eastern. Thank you for having me, Tom. Appreciate you.
Always. Mikey, the real YouTuber in the house.
What? No.
What do you got coming up? Well, it
Loki.
says you're totally a YouTuber there.
Doggone it, you people keep changing that. Stop doing that. I didn't even notice that. When did you do that?
I don't
been
know.
that way
I
the
didn't
whole
do
show.
anything.
No, wait, you tricked me. No, so it's still good. Real Star Trek fan, but totally not. You changed it. You changed it. When did that happen?
I did no such thing.
From the beginning of the show.
Doggone it. See, totally not. I can correct these lies here. Not a YouTuber. Loki's late night show tomorrow night. Be there or be perpendicular.
All right. Yes, it's every Friday night at 10 p.m. Central on Loki's channel. Isn't that right?
Yep, Loki's Mornings of Mischief. Thanks everyone for being here.
It's
Thanks for
Mornings
putting
of
up with
Mischief
me.
at night with the best YouTuber in the world, Mike the Mexican Iron Man.
Oh, thanks for having me, Tom. Thanks for letting me vent. Appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, I got a little vulgar.
Nah, you don't have to apologize to me. You might have to apologize to the FCC, but not to me.
Oh,
It's
No,
the people at the frickin' FCC.
I remember the FCC being a problem. That's not
Family
my problem
Guy.
anymore.
Yeah.
My problem nowadays is I can't talk about anything without censoring myself, which is sad. But with that, let's get the hell out of here. What do you guys say?
and with that,
let's say let's do let's see, what have I not done in a while? Let's do this.
Weird, buddy. You're weird.